Hey guys, just got out of the theater and watched the animated basketball movie GOAT. Now, is this the Michael Jordan of animated basketball movies or the Angel Reese? GOAT is an animated family focused sports comedy that takes place in a colorful world where animals run the show. The story centers around Will, an undersized goat with huge ambitions, who unexpectedly earns a chance to play in the top professional Roarball League, a rough, high energy sport dominated by bigger, tougher animals. Most of his new teammates aren't exactly sold on him being there, and he constantly has to deal with people questioning whether he belongs. So the movie follows Will as he works to prove himself, showing that heart and determination can compete with size while trying to earn the respect of everyone around him. That's the general plot of this movie. I'm not going to go over any spoilers in this. I'm going to touch on a few points. If I do get into a little spoiler territory, I'll let you know. But I'm going to decide if this movie is nope or dope. The premise of this movie just got me really intrigued. We actually have a literal goat trying to be the goat of his sport in an animated movie produced by Sony, the same company that produced Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, the people that brought you K-pop Demon Hunters. So you know visually this movie was going to be stunning from the jump. The standout thing about GOAT is easily the look of this movie. Visually, the thing is gorgeous. It feels like it's pulling inspiration, like I mentioned, from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, K-pop Demon Hunters. The animation is super crisp, really fast, and honestly kind of frenetic at times, in a good way. There's always something happening on screen and just pops with energy, especially during the actual basketball scenes. It's crazy, frenetic action, crossovers, people dunking on each other, posterizing each other. The animation is just beautiful. There's many different locales where they play their games. It's not just in your typical arena inside. It's mainly outdoors. There's going to be weather elements. There's snow, there's rain, there's lava. There's the ground moving, it's shaking, it's breaking apart. It's just wild, wild action. Give it up to these animators. Movies these days are just unbelievable to look at. It's really hard to pinpoint any flaws in any of these animated movies, but especially the Sony produced ones. They have definitely created their own style, their own visuals. I just love this look. Similar again to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Spider-Man movies. It's just visually stunning. Now, sometimes the frame rate looks a little choppy, and if you haven't seen one in a bit, it might take a little bit getting used to. Even in this movie at the very beginning, I just had to get used to it again. But after that, it was just a beautiful thing to see. The voice performances in this movie was on point. The voice acting across the board was really solid. But the standout to me is definitely the star of the show, Will. He's voiced by Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. He does a great job making Will feel real. He doesn't sound cartoony, over the top. He actually made you feel like a young man who was struggling. He's definitely struggling in this movie just to make it. And he has dreams. He wants to dream big, coming from his mom, who gave him that confidence to just go for his dreams, shoot his shot. I'm going to just look over at the amount of people in this movie that I didn't even realize were in this movie. Obviously, you got Caleb McLaughlin, as I mentioned. Steph Curry plays the giraffe. I thought he was going to play the goat, but he plays the giraffe well in this movie. Aaron Pierre was in this movie. I didn't even realize he was in this. He plays Maine, who is essentially the antagonist. He's the guy on the other team that's just thinks he's the greatest. And I don't know what it is about animated horses. They always just look so freaking funny. I guess it's the teeth. I guess it's the long hair. Jelly Roll is another person's movie that kind of stole it from me. His voice works so well. Jelly Roll has that voice you just know. He has a great singing voice. He doesn't sing in this. I wish he did. But he plays this huge grizzly bear. He's not in it a lot, but when he's in it, he's great. And Gabrielle Union is one of the main characters in this movie. She is the current goat named Jet. She's this really big panther who struggles with having to pass the torch to Will, who's apparently going to be the next GOAT. She's one of those stars who've been in the league for so long. She's done her time. She's been the best. But you know, there comes a time in any athlete's career. Think of some of the great athletes that maybe have gone too far in their career. The first person that pops to my mind is Brett Favre. This almost felt like a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation from the Green Bay Packers, where Brett Favre was the GOAT. Everyone loved him. He was the Packers, just like Jet was the Thorns. That's the name of the team of this movie, the Thorns, where she's just one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, who has become an MVP, who's done great things. In this story, she hasn't won a championship, which they call the Claw. So she does a good job with showing her emotion in the struggle of just being the guy or the girl. But she's almost past her prime now, and it's time for her to hand off the reins to someone else. And that's the crux of this movie. And she does a really good job of showing that emotion. And there are times in this where I wasn't even rooting for her. There were times where she almost felt like she was the antagonist in this, because she had this ego about her that she couldn't let go. And I get that. The soundtrack is another standout part of this movie. You have to have a great soundtrack to complement the awesome visuals. And especially in an animated basketball movie where there's a lot of frenetic things going on, it's fast paced, it's super quick. It just goes with the vibe, it goes with the aura of the movie. And this movie has great upbeat hip hop music. And there's a time where the movie slows down for the emotional moments, because there are some emotional beats in this movie where the music really hits. And there's this updated version of Don't Dream It's Over that I was not expecting. And for old heads like me, it just hit at the right moment. Maybe younger kids like my son, he's never heard of that song before. I told him about it after the movie. But when that song hit, it was just like a remix version of it. It just hit at the right moment for this guy who loves old school music. When I say old school, this is like the 80s, and it just hit at the right time, and it was just so good. So the music in this really enhanced my enjoyment of this movie. Part of this movie is Will and his mother, and I'm not going to go into spoiler territory of what happens, but she is who convinced him that he was good enough, that he could do this, that he can dream big. This is a movie about believing in yourself, believing in others, and that you can't just sometimes just make it on your own. You have to have someone believe in you. You have to make it there, especially in basketball or rollerball as a team. It's not just about you, it's about the other people that surround you. And that's where the movie really got better for me, is in the second half. It's like the first half of the movie, like the first half of a game, if I want to use an analogy. You're struggling, you're down 7-10 points. You go into the intermission, you go into halftime and regroup. And this movie really regrouped in the middle. And from the second half of the movie was definitely dope for me. As my camera equipment died the second I said dope. I don't know what that means, but I was able to recharge, and now I'm finishing up this review. And really, there's not many negatives I can say about this movie. The first half just wasn't as good as the second half. It started out a little bit slow, a little bit cliche, but once the second half hit, you got to the heart, you got to the emotion, you got to the laughs. This is a great family movie. Take your family, take your kids. This is a good story about believing in yourself, attaining your goals, reaching your goals, and dreaming big. So again, this is a dope for me. And if you've seen this already and you agree with me, type dope in the comments, make this a double D. If you're new to this channel, check out my other reactions and reviews. What I do on this channel is I'll react to the trailer, and then I'm going to do a out of the theater reaction before the movie comes out to the public. So you could see if my trailer reaction matches my final review, which again, this is dope. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is this one of your favorite basketball animated movies of all time, or is Space Jam and Space Jam 2 better than this? Let me know. So guys, again, hit the like button, subscribe if you'd like. We'd love to have you, and join me on this journey, and I'll check you out later.